Welcome, I'm Gaia. You come and say hello when you're free.
Always got her nose buried in a book, that one. Helps out Brawl down in the city, our resident expert about the history and laws of the Dwemer. Last I heard, they were trying to track down some dwarven artifacts. Should ask Brawl about it, if you're into that sort of thing. This is the Citadel kitchen. Remember to be polite to our cook Asanshi. She does her best with what she has, which isn't much.
You really should go and see the Jarl before we talk.
You wouldn't want to keep the Jarl waiting, would you?
Now let's set up to the Jarl's floor. Alright, so we're about to meet Jarl Metellus. There's a couple of things you should know about him, if you want to make a good impression. First, he was the first one here. Well, he was here before the rest of us anyway. So the Citadel is his, and we're all his guests. Second, he's very protective of this place, and won't tolerate anyone disturbing the peace. So be on your best behaviour, and you should be fine. This is the top of the Citadel. The bathhouse is off limits, and I'm not even sure what's behind the gold door. Only the Jarl has ever gone in there. Alright, you're on your own from here. I've got lazy farmers to supervise. Good luck with the Jarl, and I'll see you around.
The Jarl's waiting for you on his balcony, on your left.
There's a face I don't recognize. Welcome to my city. I'm Jarl Metellus. Tell me, what is your name? It's always exciting to meet a new member of our small community. Now, before I forget, since you're here for good, you'll need some quarters. Here's a key to the last vacant chambers down in the city, between Brawl and Luki. It's all yours. Now tell me, what brings you to my city? I sent you here. I'm not sure what you mean. Well, let's see. This is my handwriting. The victims of an unspeakable atrocity. I will open a portal that will take you into the past. You must go back. This is real, isn't it? I've even toyed with the idea of creating a portal between 2 points in time, with Brawl's help. But that's odd. My letter makes no mention of what caused the disaster. I suppose I was in a hurry. So tell me, what's going to happen to us? That's exactly what I saw when I first discovered this place, several years ago. It seems whatever happened then is going to happen again. I think it has something to do with the dwarves' law. It's very, very bad. Yes, you see, the dwarves who built this place left inscriptions. Brawl hasn't been able to fully translate them. We understand some parts. This warning keeps coming up. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. We think that breaking the law here will cause some kind of event. The truth is, I've used the dwarves' law to frighten my people into obedience. And it's worked so far. But someone's about to break that law. Let me think. Your arrival here is exactly what I need. You've helped me a great deal by bringing this note to my attention. I wonder if you could do me another favor. I need you to investigate the city, talk to my people, help them, if it'll win their trust. You can even go through their possessions if you have to. You must work out who is going to break the dwarves' law. Once you have a name, come back and tell me immediately. As Jarl, I authorize you to go anywhere you need to go, including private homes. But if someone asks you to leave, you should do so immediately. I can't promise either of those things, but I will certainly do everything within my power to help you once you've helped my people. And of course, if you decide to stay, I would make sure you enjoy a comfortable life here. Now, what do you say? Will you help me? Thank you. Now, you mustn't tell anybody where you're from or what may be about to happen here. People do foolish things when they panic. If it helps you, you're welcome to borrow the book on my desk. It contains the names and addresses of my subjects. Just don't show it to anyone. Goodbye for now, and good luck. I don't need to tell you what will happen if you fail. Hello again, my friend. Any word about the matter we discussed? Of course. What do you want me to clarify? I'll talk to you soon, I hope. Well, I hope your investigation has been thorough. I don't want you accusing the first person you suspect. So, who is it? Oh my! I suppose that explains the nightshade he was growing in his quarters. It's no good for anything other than making poisons. So be it. We have to intervene and stop whatever he is plotting. There's only one thing left to do. I need you to kill him for me. but you need to be discreet about it, so as not to break the dwarves' law. You see, I believe we're being watched by the dwarven statues and busts all around the city, but there are blind spots, areas where they can't see us. One of those areas is the tunnels below the city. If you can lure your suspect down there and kill him, no one will ever know. Ugly business, I know, but it's the only way to save my people, to save us all. It'll be our little secret. Can I count on you one last time? Good, thank you. Now, here's a key to the tunnels under the city. You can enter via the basement of your own chambers, or any of the others. I knew I could count on you. Sometimes even good people have to do regrettable things. Let me know once it's done. Hello again, my friend. Any word about the matter we discussed?
We can talk, but be quick. Domitus could be back any second.
Hello, Petal. What a pretty thing you are. My story, it's about a quiet man who preferred to keep to himself, short and sharp. Yes, I do. Death. Death is the only way out of here. What? Oh. So, you went through my belongings, did you? Well, what of it? What do you want? Oh, how noble of you. I've admitted it. I worked for the Dark Brotherhood, and I was very good at what I did. But I'm quite comfortable here, as you can see. What would be my motivation to kill anyone now? I'd need some kind of death wish. Now, was there something else you wanted to ask me? Or can I get back to enjoying my retirement? You do that. I thought we were done talking. Underground, you say? I've always wanted to take a look down there. All right, lead the way.
shall suffer for the sins of the One.
Stop this from happening.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the One.
Hello again, my friend. Any word about the matter we discussed?
Nice to see someone in the Citadel who isn't an Imperial for a change. Well, as you know, the Jarl is my father. Or, at least, that's what he tells people. What he doesn't tell anyone is that I'm adopted. And the worst part is, I don't even know why he adopted me in the first place. I mean, he doesn't seem to care about me at all. Sometimes I feel more like his prisoner than his daughter. If we weren't trapped in here, I'd run away in a heartbeat. Oh, he really is. He's always telling everyone what to do. I don't know how everyone puts up with him. Did you know he calls this place his Citadel? And he and his friends don't do any work. Everything gets done by the people down in the city. He'll probably try to make you work for him too. But don't just do whatever he says. People around here should really learn to stand up to him. You know my father would be upset to hear you ask that. I love it. Me, not even allowed out of the Citadel. I'm so bored. Father doesn't want me mixing with the common folk. He's all, why don't you read one of the books Gaia brought you? Books? I'm almost 18. I want to have fun, like normal girls my age. Or do anything to take my mind off where I am. I thought about getting one of those awful Nord tattoos. Father would hate that. But then that bitch Asanchi told me about her skooma habit. I don't want to drink it, but if I get some, I just know I could get that junkie to spill her guts about everyone in this place. You got some! Well done! Now, take it down to Asanchi in the kitchen and see if you can squeeze her for information. It'll be hilarious. Hey there. All right. See you later.
got my eye on ya.
I'm a little busy, but what do you need? Why, you think if you butter me up, I'll start making food for you too? Forget it. My kitchen's for Citadel residents only. Go make your own food. Well, fine. My story. I'm the Citadel cook. In this life. Not exactly how I thought my life would end up. But it's better than it was on the surface. That. Seems like a long time ago. I had a very easy life for myself in Markarth. Married to a silver merchant. Maybe it was a little too easy. I was bored. A lot. Started looking for something to do. A friend introduced me to skooma. It was fun. For a while. But you know how it goes. I was a living cliche. Lost my husband, my home, my easy life. Then I found myself doing things I'm not proud of. That's when I realized if I couldn't keep myself away from the skooma, I'd have to keep it away from me. So when I found the entrance to this place, I knew what I had to do. Haven't touched the stuff since. Still get the cravings. Sometimes I'd kill for one last bottle. But no point in thinking about it down here. Right. Is that what I think it is? Can I have it? Whatever you want. I could give you food or information. You find out all sorts of secrets being the chef in a place like this. Will that do? Well, there's Marius. He's growing plants in his room that can really only be used for making poisons. Not sure what he's up to, but it's nothing good. Have you met Saphira and Domitus downstairs? Saphira despises that rude bastard. I don't blame her. Not that she'd ever say it to his face. There's barely enough food to feed everyone in the city, but the Jarl insists on double rations. I don't see how he could be eating that much. The Jarl told me to stop saying this, but the citadel is haunted. I swear I've heard wailings in the halls at night after everyone is asleep. I told you my story. And you use it to squeeze information out of me? You're disgusting. Get away from me. Get out of here before I tell the Jarl you spat in his food. Bye. Get out of here before I tell the Jarl you spat in his food.
What is it? I'm sorry, what's my story? What in oblivion is your story? How dare you come in here like you own the place and expect me to explain myself to you? I don't care who you are, but pay attention. There's a pecking order around here, and I'm at the top of it. After the Yowl, of course. So work hard and do what I tell you, or you'll wish you died and gone to oblivion. Got it? Nonsense. Not even a peasant like you would be stupid enough to do that. Everybody knows it would break the dwarves' law and get us all killed. So I'll speak to you and the other peasants as I see fit, and there's nothing you can do about it. Got it? Now get out of my sight. I'm sick of you.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Get away from me, peasant. I don't want anyone seeing us together. Get away from me, peasant. I don't want anyone seeing us together.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Get away from me, peasant. I don't want anyone seeing us together.
Hello, Petal. What a pretty thing you are. My story? It's about a quiet man who preferred to keep to himself. Short and sharp. What? Oh. So, you went through my belongings, did you? Well, what of it? What do you want? Oh, how noble of you. I've admitted it. I worked for the Dark Brotherhood, and I was very good at what I did. But I'm quite comfortable here, as you can see. What would be my motivation to kill anyone now? I'd need some kind of death wish. Now, was there something else you wanted to ask me? Or can I get back to enjoying my retirement? You do that. I thought we were done talking. Yes, I do. Death. Death is the only way out of here.
Oh, hello. Hello, dear. Oh my, it's very nice of you to take an interest in my life, dear. But you don't need to humor an old woman. Really? Well, you're the first person in the city to say that. Well, let's see. These days I mostly just sweep the streets here, keep them clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness, or so they say. It's not very inspiring, as you can imagine, but the alternative is to wind up like poor Dooley. Oh, you haven't met him yet? Don't worry, I'm sure he'll introduce himself to you sooner or later. He's homeless. He lives in a cave by the lake. I feel sorry for him. I think most of us do. But ever since his brother died, He's been obsessing over some long-lost treasure. The Jarl decided because he can't work, he doesn't deserve to live in a house like the rest of us. So he lives in a tent in a cave of sorts. But don't let him drag you into it. I'm quite sure it's imaginary. A great loss can do terrible things to a person's mind. Well, anyway, that's about all there is about me to tell, I'm afraid. I'm not very interesting. Well, the most important thing in my life is prayer. So let me ask you, have you found room in your heart for Mara, the Mother Goddess? Yes, of course, dear. Don't worry, I get that reaction a lot. Perhaps I'll see you later. I'm afraid not, dear. I resigned myself long ago to being here forever. It's not so bad once you get used to the idea. Oh, well, goodbye.
There's a looter coming into the city. I saw a man come down the shaft, but he was armed and he looked like a looter. If he makes it into the city and starts attacking people, he'll break the dwarves' law, and who knows what will happen. You have to stop him. Everybody, go home and lock your doors. Is it over? Is it safe? Oh, thank the gods. What a relief. We're so lucky that you arrived in time to stop them. I'll be sure to tell everyone what you've done for us. Thank you so much. If there's ever anything my husband Tabik and I can do to help you, just ask. Oh, there's not much to tell. My husband Tabik runs the clothing store in town. You should stop by. I'm sure you'll leave looking much better. Not that you don't look good now, I mean, it's just... You know, nice clothes are... Oh, who am I kidding? I'm no good at selling anything. I guess that's why they've got me sweeping the floors day in, day out. Well, that, and we weren't invited to be layabouts in the Jarl's Citadel. Did you see anyone working in the Citadel? I'll bet you didn't. They just amuse themselves all day while those of us down here do all the work. And why? Because Abik's a Redguard and I'm a Breton. I bet if we were both Imperial, it'd be a different story. The worst part is we left Solitude to get away from bigoted Nords after our son died. but here the Imperials are even worse. Of course. Oh. No offense, but I'd rather not talk about it. Too many painful memories. And besides, there are enough sad stories around this place as it is. But if you're interested, you can talk to my husband, Habig, in his shop, Firefly Finery. What would we do? Start a rebellion? No way. Not after the dwarves' warning. You know, the many shall suffer for the sins of the one, and all that. I'd be a fool not to. If you're not convinced, you should go and talk to Brohl in his chambers. He knows more about the dwarves than anyone. All right. If I did, Habig and I probably wouldn't be here. But Ulrin's wife managed to escape a while back. He doesn't like to talk about it, but you might be able to get him to open up, I suppose. Nice to talk to you. See you soon.
What do you want? Get out of my face, milk drinker. My problem. Anyone around here whose head isn't buried in the sand. That's my problem. I mean, everyone acts like nothing's wrong, but we're one stupid mistake away from being wiped out, like the last lot of people who lived here. Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming, whatever that is. And when it hits, it's every man for himself. You've been warned. I don't know, but did you ever get the feeling these statues are watching us? Like they're waiting for something? I don't like it. What about it? Nope. This is the only one like it in the whole city. It's not for sale. Oh, well in that case, you still can't have it. Let me be clear. The only way you'll get this armor is if you peel it from my corpse. Bye. If I did, I wouldn't be standing here listening to you. What about it? Not going to happen, maggot. Because you know, and I know, that the first blow that gets landed is going to get us all killed. You're not that stupid. Bye.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the
I
one.
hope it was worth it. If I did, I wouldn't be standing here listening to you. Bye.
Hello, neighbor. Hello, neighbor. My story? What a strange question. You presuppose that my life is a simple linear sequence of events which can be summed up in a verbal narrative? Well, that's nonsense, of course. First, most of it was so long ago I barely remember. Second, you would have to assume that the account I give you is biased heavily in my favor, and is therefore quite unreliable. And finally, my story is really much less interesting than this mysterious place. Now, do you have any sensible questions, or can I get back to work? Well, why didn't you say so? I researched Dwarven history and technology, and I'm originally from Kragenmoor in Morrowind. Any other questions? Well, the dwarves who built this city left inscriptions in the Citadel, which translate to, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." My research leads me to believe that if a single member of our community sins, it'll trigger an event, killing us all. I believe such an event occurred some years ago, which is why Metellus found the city littered with burnt corpses. But to this day, there are many questions we simply don't have answers for. How is the Dwarves' Law still being enforced? How does it work? And we may never know, as long as nobody attacks or steals from anybody else. Until we know more, we all need to be on our best behavior. That is the sun under the ground. Or at least that's how it's referred to in the Dwarven text we've managed to translate. I must confess, I haven't the faintest idea of how it works. But it seems to be giving us light and allowing us to grow crops, even under the ground. Of course, if it ever stops glowing, for whatever reason, we'll all be in quite a lot of trouble. But don't concern yourself with such dark thoughts. I'm sure we have nothing to worry about. Time travel? You know, as it happens, I do. It was a great obsession of mine for years after my wife passed. I thought if I could go back, I gave up on that idea a long time ago. But recently the Jarl has asked to see my research notes. How strange that you should now take an interest too. Can I ask what the nature of your interest is in this unusual subject? I don't quite know what to say to that. How can I put this charitably? Perhaps you're tired and emotional and need some rest. But I always enjoy discussing my theories with a receptive mind, so I'll humor you. What did you want to ask? For argument's sake, if you found yourself in that position, you'd have only two options. To live out your days in the past, or force a paradox. A paradox, you see, would involve changing the past so as to prevent the events which caused you to travel back in time in the first place. But you'd be taking a big risk by doing that. Who knows what the consequences would be? Some say that whatever you do, it will lead you right back to the future that took you back in time in the first place. An eternal loop, if you will. But me, I believe that creating a paradox should fling you back to your original time, having changed the past for you and everyone else. Well, let's say for argument's sake that you really have traveled here from the future. You could create a paradox in a few different ways. Essentially, you could do anything that would remove your means or motivation to return to the past. For example, you came here to achieve some goal,
Achieving that goal would mean you will never have been motivated to come here. A paradox. Or, if the thing that allowed you to travel back in time is still here, as a past version of itself, you could simply destroy it, I suppose. That would mean, of course, that you will never have been able to travel back in time. Another paradox. But doing so could have terrible consequences. But if you really are from the future, as unlikely as that is, telling me or anybody else what happens next could have disastrous consequences too. I think it's best if we talk about something else. Now that's an interesting question. I personally don't know any way out, no. However, I have a theory. It's more of a hypothesis, really. My thinking is that if there was a way out of here, the dwarves who built this place must have known about it. True, but we can learn all sorts of things about them from what they left behind. Inscriptions, architecture, relics, statues. And while I've discovered many things here, there are some parts of the city I haven't been able to get to. I'm most interested in the palace, above the lake. Unfortunately, it's sealed up tight. Only one man ever managed to enter, and he never came out. That was Narnabas, and we haven't heard from him in years. Strange fellow. I believe he was looking for the secrets of the dwarves too. If you could find a way in there, I'm sure it would tell us a great deal about this place. Who knows what secrets we could uncover. Very well. Come back if you think of any questions about something you discover. Hello, neighbor. Made any exciting new discoveries?
So you're the one who killed all those people. Did it make you feel like a big hero? Have you asked yourself who's gonna clean up all your mess? I'm Lukey. I'm what passes for an alchemist and healer around here. I'll be honest, I don't much care for dealing with people, or healing them, but I wouldn't trust anyone else around here with the responsibility, and I guess somebody's gotta do it, right? Oh, don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like my neighbors. I don't like anyone. Stupid, untrustworthy, selfish, ugly creatures we humans are. But you know what? At least down here, people are on their best behavior most of the time, what with the dwarves' law and all. I mean, people are still bastards, but at least they have to be discreet about it. Nobody's openly violent, and nobody's ever stolen anything from me. Ah, yes. Poor Brandis. I've been doing my best to keep the poor fool alive. What of him? He came here with his partner, full of big talk about how Stendar sent them to purge some great evil from beneath the city. Now, none of us know exactly what's down there. But if there is a great evil, then it made the mighty Stendar look like a milk drinker. All I know is nobody with half a brain should go down there. Not without a way to protect themselves from the energy that killed poor Brandis. Yes. What about him? Yes, I suppose. Just go down and check up on him for me, would you? His house is not far from here, down in the inner ring of the city. Just a small selection of potions. Ingredients are in short supply here. Happy to buy yours if you have any. There isn't one. This place is like a firefly trap. One way in, no way out. Could be worse, though. You could be living in bloody Skyrim. All right. See you soon, neighbor.
Citadel.
Hello. I wasn't following you.
I urge you to... Hello there, young lady. You look nice. Well, it's a sad one. But I don't mind telling it. Name's Golvar. I'm a farmer. Always was. Grew up on a farm near Whiterun. It was a good life. Fresh milk and eggs every day. Running around the farm barefoot with my brother and sisters. Never even had to lock our doors. One day, when I was about 18, my father and I were carting some produce into the market when we saw a group of strangers in the top field. My father told me to run back to the house in his axe. So I did. I ran so fast I almost threw up. But by the time I got back, it was too late. I found him dead by the side of the road. The cart and all our produce was gone. That was the first time I learned about bandits. My mother passed soon after, and I took over the farm. Now I'm as good a farmer as any, and better than most, but things went downhill from there. The raiding started before long. I'd come outside at dawn and find a few chickens missing. Next it was a cow, then 2 cows. That was the first time in 5 generations my family started locking its doors at night. We knew the guards from Whiterun weren't going to help us. Hello there, friend.
Don't know why you're asking me. Don't know if there's a way out, and don't care. This is my home now. Not even a dozen bandits could drive me away.
Fair enough. See you around. Hey, I hear you dealt with those looters swiftly. Great work. You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. But I'll tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleepless nights thinking about the dwarves' law. But once you get used to the fear, knowing that a single slip-up could cost you everything, it's not too bad. Nothing to me, anyways. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. That's about all I know. You should go and talk to Brawl in his chambers if you want to know more. Well, come on back anytime you like.
What do you want?
Hello there. I'm Habik. I live out back with my wife, Miranda. We used to live in solitude, but, we had to leave. Found this place by accident, like most. The Jarl needed someone to mind the store. So I volunteered. Doesn't make any money, of course. Not enough customers. The Jarl says he likes to keep us busy and out of trouble. But of course, he and all his cronies in the Citadel never seem to lift a finger. Our son was working at my stables outside the city. He was alone when he had a visit from some Imperial, a cousin of the High King. This Imperial thought he'd just take one of the horses as a tithe. Guess he didn't think a 12-year-old boy was going to stop him. But Limar wouldn't stand for it. And as the thief rode off, my son managed to shoot an arrow into his shoulder. But I wasn't there at the time. I came back from the market to find my son's body, trampled in the dirt. It was... I can't begin to describe it. I was shattered. I went straight to Torig's court and demanded justice. But I guess that word doesn't mean much to an Imperial. Instead, he seized my stables and told me if I ever set foot in Solitude again, my wife and I would end up the same way as Limar. So we left. Wandered Skyrim for a while, and eventually wound up here. I was hoping this place would be better. I was wrong. I wish it was that simple. But with the Dwarves' law, everybody here is terrified of doing anything wrong, in case it gets us all killed. The Dwarves wrote, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." But we don't know what they meant by sin. Theft. Violence, probably. But maybe they meant all sorts of things, like dishonesty or disobedience to the Jarl. That's what Metellus would like us to think, anyway. So I could ignore his orders. Sure. I could even lead an uprising against him. Gods know most of us are sick of him. But I'd be risking the lives of everyone here. And I just don't want to be responsible for that. So here I am, running my shop. Could be worse. Don't be a fool. That sort of dangerous talk could get us all killed. If you don't believe me, go and talk to Brawl. Dunmer fellow. Can't miss him. All right. No, I don't. But I'd wager that if anyone does know a way out, it's the Jarl. But of course, if he told anyone, he'd be ruling over an empty city. All right, thanks for stopping by. See you again soon, I hope.
been waiting for you, Dovahkiin. Ah, I see you have not yet discovered your true nature. It seems I know you better than you know yourself. Of course, to me, your memories are an open tome. To begin with, I know you have trespassed countless times against others of your kind. And I know you have looted the corpses of those you have slain. I know you have harvested the souls of the Dova, hoarding them, twisting them into an unnatural weapon against your enemies. I also know you have come from the future. And why is that? Is your desire for power so great that you would break even the laws of time for it? It makes no difference. You will not take it from me. You would not be so foolish as to break my law. I mean, my law. I made it because your kind would be incapable of order, of peace, without it. That makes me the Arbiter. I am also the founder. I discovered this site millennia ago, and the deposit of Ethereum beneath us. I laid the foundations, and I watched my children grow and learn and use the Ethereum to create marvels, technological wonders. But they grew quarrelsome and used their knowledge to create weapons to use against their own kind, and worse, their own father. So I confiscated their weapons and declared my law that each and every one of my children would live in perfect order, or they would not live at all. And here I am, millennia later, still waiting for children worthy of this city. And for my patience, it seems my reward is a visit from you, Dovahkiin. Well, why have you traveled through time to come here? What is it you seek? Ah, if only you could read my memories as I read yours. Very well. Ask your questions. You flock here, your kind, like moths to a flame, driven by greed and the lust for power. You are warned about my law, and when you disobey, and you always disobey, you force my hand, bringing death upon yourselves. So you ask if I am the one killing your kind. And I say no. You kill yourselves. I am merely the means by which you do it. 2,000 years in your terms. But time is different down here. I count time in waves, generations, civilizations. You and your kind up above are number 322. You wish to be ageless, like me. In truth, time passes differently in here. It would take an eternity just to explain it to you. It is not my place to reveal that secret to you, Dovahkiin. But when they moved on from this world, I was left behind. You see, the energy that has sustained me all this time, it anchored me here. I could not leave this place if I wanted to. So I see. Now, state your purpose here. You, a dabbler in sin, now seek to lecture me in matters of law. Very well. I will humor you. Let me hear what you have to say before I judge you. Choose your next words carefully, Dovahkiin. What is it that you made worse? You admit to breaking my law. In the future, at least this explains why you traveled back in time. I warn you, tread carefully. Everything I have done here, everything I have done, has been, I thought that if I could create peace here, create order, that I could prove to the world that such a thing is possible, and they might follow. When the first of your kind disobeyed my law, I was disappointed. But I thought, if I was patient, the next wave might fare better. But that wave met the same fate, and the next wave after that. They betrayed me, and I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. But the more I failed, the more firmly I had to believe that I would be vindicated one day. But I have suspected for a long time that day would never come. And now I see it never will. There is no place for peace and order in this world. I will stop. From this point forward, your kind will be free to live how they choose, in whatever chaos and squalor they create for themselves. I will destroy this Ethereum to ensure your kind can never exploit it, and you may all return to the world of man, should you wish. But I warn you, Dovahkiin, making these changes will create a paradox in time. The events that brought you here will never have taken place. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering with the past. Now, are you ready? Goodbye, Dovahkiin.
Hey! You startled me there. Wait. I know you. You're... No, that can't be right.
For a moment there, I thought you were... you know, the one the statue was meant to honor.
Cassia! Oh, I completely forgot. I asked her to wait for me at the top of the lift, and... I guess I got so tied up in this place that I lost track of time.
I'd better head back up and let her know I'm alright. Hey, do you want to come with me? We can chat along the way. Great. Follow me. Let's run back up, shall we? Don't want to keep my sister waiting any longer. So, you're probably wondering what I've been doing down here. I guess it's been, what, a few days? I'll be honest. I came down here looking for a haul I could unload on the next merchant I met. I just wasn't expecting to find a thriving city, and the history of this place is amazing. Did you know that up until about 7 years ago, they had what they called the Dwarves' Law? Apparently there were inscriptions warning that if one person committed a crime, everyone else would pay for it. But they were all trapped in the city with no way out, so they lived in fear that someone would break the law and get them all killed. Then, one day, a strange woman appeared in the city out of nowhere. They say she just walked out of the lake house, like she owned the place. And a few people saw her walk into this quarry, into a field of deadly radiation, like it was nothing, like it hadn't killed people before her. And then, the ground started shaking, and golden statues were collapsing, and inscriptions were crumbling all over the city, all at the same time. And the sun under the ground, which used to light up the entire cavern, bursts into flame and explodes. And strangest of all, the cavern roof opens up like the petals of a flower, and there's real sunlight for the first time in thousands of years. So of course, people start wondering, did she just walk down here and single-handedly dismantle whatever was keeping the Dwarves' Law going? Who was she? Was she still alive? So Bro, the local scholar, goes down into the quarry to take a look. But now the whole place is empty. But all the way at the bottom, sitting alone in the darkness, is a statue of the stranger. Oddest tale I ever heard.
Hey, hello there, friend. Can't complain, my friend. You know, not long after they executed Metellus, turns out he was behind Macy's disappearance. They made me Jarl. It was a bit of a shock, to be honest. But I guess they wanted someone who wasn't at all like Metellus. Jarl Galvar. Still sounds strange to me. And I guess I have you to thank for it. If you hadn't freed us from the dwarves' laws, Ulrin could never have overthrown Metellus. So, thanks. I imagine you'll be moving on soon, but you'll always be welcome. We even kept your chambers exactly as you left them.
What do you want? Better. Now that I know I'm not being watched anymore. Still, someone has to protect this place, and that someone is me. So you might have taken down some old dwarves or whatever. But if you start any trouble here, you're going to find yourself toe-to-toe with me.
Hello there, friend.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
sorry, Cass. I lost track of time again. It's just that this city is so amazing. You have to come down with me. And for yourself. I promise. It's perfectly safe.
Well, all right. But first, let me thank our friend. Thank you so much for bringing him back in one piece. I really thought I'd lost him. I can't thank you enough. Now, I promised you a reward. This is something I always carry with me, and it's become very dear to me. I'd like you to have it. Thanks again. My brother and I are in your debt. Hello, my friend. Oh, you wouldn't believe what a difference it's made. Habik and I finally felt safe enough to have another son. His name's Malik and he's 6.
Hi there. Better, thank you. You know, all that time I was looking after Brandis, I remember him telling me about the ancient evil under the earth. I really thought he was mad, but I guess he was right after all. Well, I'm glad you were able to finish what he started, whatever you did down there. So, on behalf of Brandis and Leandris, thank you. I like to think their souls are at rest now.
Hey, you look kind of familiar. Well, business has picked up now that we occasionally get visitors from the outside world, but nobody seems to want to buy my elixirs anymore. The best wares for you, my friend.